Hi, I'm Tim Kane, the entertainment editor at the Herald and Review, and I'm at my desk. I've talked to you a little bit about my 365 Days of Film project, or 365 Days of Cinema, and I've been keeping a rolling track of things in my blog, and there were a couple things said after the February update on my blog that I thought were kind of interesting. One came from one of my coworkers here, Jim Farrell, who said the same thing that some other people have talked to me about with it. And a lot of people seem to think that I'm watching bad movies, or I'm finding all the movies I watch to be bad or mediocre or whatever. And I understand that because I complain about some of the things that I see. And if you're following it all, you might see a fair number of 1 and 1.5 star ratings, which I just think, these movies are not worth your time. But at the same time, I don't look at it as a negative, because the way I look at it is through February, I had watched 59 films that I hadn't seen before, and 18 of them I had given a rating of 3 stars or higher on a 4-star scale. And that means about a third of the movies that I've watched that I hadn't watched previously, I really enjoyed. And to me, that's kind of exciting. That's part of the point of the project, is to kind of make myself look at some of these films that are regarded as classics, and for whatever reason, I just never gotten around to seeing them. And now I have a reason to watch them, an additional reason to watch them, and I do, and I get the enjoyment out of it. And I've never been a person who's been wholly disappointed by a bad movie, or by a bad concert, or by a bad album, or by a bad book. You need that base of the low, mediocre stuff to remind yourself that the stuff that you put on top really is good. It may not make any sense to say it, but I'd rather see a couple of bad concerts and know that the ones that I think are great really are great, than just see a bunch of average concerts and not really be sure if what I like is what I'm hearing, or just the fact that it's live music, or just the experience of being in a crowd or something like that. Another person commented on my blog that I'm using the word great a lot and not giving out 4 stars. And the first thing I thought when I saw that was, wow, somebody really cares about what kind of rating I give to a movie. For me, the star ratings are really just a chance for me to give you, the reader, the impression of what I think of it on the scale, and then you can compare that with your own scale. Odds are good if you think a movie is a 3.5 star movie, and I give it 1.5 stars, and we're not going to see eye to eye very often on films or of that specific genre or whatever. It's just kind of a touchstone, a base point. My feeling about giving 4 stars to a movie, it might be different than everybody else's. To me, if I'm going to give a movie 4 stars, it means I recommend it strongly. It's something I think as many people as possible should see. And I think it diminishes it if you give them out willy-nilly. I might see 3 or 4 movies a year tops that I consider 4-star movies. Probably I think I saw 2 last year, 2 films in 2010 that I would consider 4-star movies. One was Despicable Me, and the other was Black Swan. And I know people who really didn't like either one of them. But that was my personal taste. The year before, I think the only one that I would have given 4 stars to was Star Trek. And I know people really didn't like that either. And in 2008, I sat here and raved in front of this camera about Tropic Thunder. And still liked it more than anything I've seen in the 3 years since. And I know people hated that. It was when I called it my movie of the year, and my brother-in-law said to me, "Did you only see 1 movie that year?" So I'm going to keep doing the 365 Days of Cinema, of course, but maybe that gives you a little bit of a feel of what my take on star ratings are, and how I really don't feel like I'm watching a lot of bad or mediocre movies. I'm really excited about the project. I've had a lot of fun with it so far. I've seen 18 really, really good movies that I wouldn't have seen before, and out of all the ones I've seen so far, I've given 1 4-star rating out. That was for Sweet Smell of Success, and that's one that may prompt me to buy the Blu-ray of the movie, just because that's how much I enjoyed it. So just want to get that off my chest, share that a little bit with you. Take a look at the Facebook page, take a look at my blog as we go, and join in on the conversation. We're having a lot of fun with it. I'm Tim Kane, the entertainment editor at the Herald and Review, and I'm at my desk.